Margot says the most outlandish, stupidest fucking line.
She says, I wonder if his dick is blue.
Why?
Like, I was like, what?
Let me tell you how it's about to go. Let me show you the towel you're about to throw. This is hip-hop, try to run in our house. We'll knock your ass straight out the door. I'm the enemy's epitome, the fantasy, my tendency to mentally give your career the death penalty. I instantly advise you to match my intensity. Try to fit my brain like Jackie Kennedy. I'm so tired of the why not side of putting MCs in a pine box. You motherfuckers couldn't even hit me in my blind.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Lost Legend TV, we are Ready to See. And I'm Ray.
And I'm James.
We are here to continue the review of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Episode 3.
Alright, so let's get into it again. If you haven't seen the show, spoilers in this, so please go watch the episode. It is on Amazon Prime.
And you really need to go back and watch our first 2 reviews. Because we have a lot of feelings about this. Like a lot. It's a lot to explain, a lot going on.
Pick it from the beginning. At the very tail end of episode 2, they found Johnny dead. Not only did they find Johnny dead, they got videos sent to their phone by Allison. And it was videos of him being decapitated.
With a shovel.
The real Allison had seen his head. So she was freaking out. She gets in her car. She calls her dad several times.
You know that?
Not once. So she gets home. And this is awkward ass fucking thing.
That's weird.
She calls her dad again while she's walking through the door. And his phone goes off. It's on the counter. It's charging. And she looks at it. Apparently, she was able to pull up his messages. And he got a message from the police officer. And I think he said something about he couldn't see. She said, do you want to come over? And he said, yeah, I'll be there soon. She said, you got to see this. And she sent a video.
I think it's just one of 1 million subplots just thrown into this TV series. Like, it's there. I don't think it's necessarily needed.
She sends a video of, Bruce in a gimp suit. She's dressed as Michael Myers.
And it's going down.
For real.
For real. On a Tuesday.
She sends a video to him of her riding him in a chair.
And he's handcuffed.
And he's handcuffed behind the chair, like hands behind the back of the chair. And she's just riding him. As a kid, I know you don't want to see your parents having sex. I get that.
My first pet peeve of this fucking episode. She deletes all of her phone calls. And then she just leaves. She's going to her dad for help, right? He knows what's going on. He knows the truth. She's just like, fuck it. If you want to fuck this bitch, I'm out. Yeah. I don't even want you to know that I called you, and she just fucking leaves. Like, why?
So what she does is she calls the group. She calls the gang. Margot. She calls Dylan. She calls Riley. And they all show up at the snack and stuff. Margot is fucking losing it. Because she was the closest to Johnny. And like we've said it, I thought she was really into Johnny. He turned out to be gay, but she still wanted to be close to him, whatever. That's how I was feeling.
It sucks Johnny died. Like, I really like his character. Yeah. But this is the first time, like we was discussing earlier off camera, this is the first time I actually felt for Margot in a likable way. I felt bad for her.
I've legit disliked her this entire show. And then, at least in this moment, you could feel her as a real character, a real person. Like, she's legit torn the fuck up.
And she's talking to people, like, not in an entitled way. She's like, hey, I lost my best friend.
And again, I'll say this, before we get too deep into it, this is probably the best episode of her out of the whole series so far. Yeah. Not once did she do anything really social media related at all. I'm not saying people who do social media are bad people. It's like she was overdoing it.
She lost her best friend, and she's finally stepping out of the mask that she has to put on. Because even her mama pushes that shit hard.
Yeah. They're all freaking out about it. They're trying to figure it out. Dylan shows up out of nowhere, and he's like, I think it's Allison. And he's like, hey, if she comes to kill me, I deserve it or whatever. Lennon is like, there's no way it's Allison, because she's Allison. And like, why would she kill Johnny? Johnny was her best friend. And then Mark was like, no, he was my best friend. That was the only part of that. They decided to leave. Riley asked Dylan for a ride, because they were supposed to be best friends. And they hadn't talked for real in a long time. This is the first time she's talked to him in a year.
And the drive was awkward, too. Like, she even mentions it was awkward.
Because Lennon got to talk to him in the first episode.
And the
second episode.
And she didn't like it very much.
No. She got upset about that. And then Margot, because she doesn't have Johnny anymore, wants to get close to Lennon. And she's like, basically, I don't want nothing to happen to either one of us. So how about we stay the night together? And she's like, why don't you come to my place? You know, Lennon's like, all right, give me some time. What I already knew about Riley, it was further proven later in the episode, but like it gave me the biggest hint of it. In this awkward ass car ride, she's talking to him and she's saying things he's not really answering. And she finally is like, you know, why won't you talk to me? Like, what was the reason? So was it because of what happened in the bounce castle? That made me remember that the bounce castle was for sex.
Yep.
And I forgot about it in the first episode. Like, even when we did the review, I forgot all about that. Because I remember saying something about them going to the bounce castle. And I remember afterwards saying something about the bounce castle being for sex. I never put the two together. So she was trying to have sex with him that night. It didn't happen. So she was like, because I don't like you that way. He's like, good.
So Lennon's driving again. She left the house and this blaze of fucking fury. Weirdest thing happened. Lila, I think that's her name, police officer, which obviously she fucking hates by now, pulls her over. She actually ran into something in the road, if you remember, spilled her slushy on the window.
It was a dog.
Lila's like, pulls up Lennon from the jump. What do you want? Why'd you pull me over? Lila saying, hey, you shouldn't be out. You know, there's been murders in the town. As that plays out, we find out that the dad called Lila to track Lennon down to go back home. She figures this out very quick. And she's like, well, if I don't go back home, what do you do? Cuff me? Because I know you're clearly into that. And the expression on Lila's face, like, she knows. She don't say nothing. She just escorts her back to the house. And she even waits till Lennon gets out of the car to drive off. Female officer leaves. And then you see the black truck, which has been a reoccurring thing throughout all 3 episodes.
Apparently everybody fucking drives a black truck.
Yeah, one of the fucking 75 of the fucking trucks. It kind of drives at her like it's going to run her over, and then it swerves and leaves. And she's kind of freaked out, so she walks in. She's clear upset at the dad, because I think the dad's name's Bruce. She tries to talk to her, she's not having it. She closes the door on him, and he's yelling, we're adults, respect each other's privacy. She opens the door. Bruce is like, I got to tell you about Johnny. She breaks down. She's like, I know. And then they actually have a moment of compassion with each other.
They talk about the whole relationship thing between him and Lila. And the thing we didn't mention about Riley and Dylan is, so Dylan was dropping her off, and this is where I realized that Courtney was her mom. Because I remember saying in episode 2, like, why the fuck is she with Courtney? And Courtney...
Well, they never, directly tell us.
They didn't.
We just got to figure it out.
Not until this episode. Courtney is best friends with Coach Kraft's ex-wife, which is why she was so upset about Johnny being around, which that makes more sense.
Kelly was in there.
Kelly's the wife, yeah. Clarification that I needed for that, because I didn't know why she was around Courtney so much. They introduced this character, which is a cop, which I'm not even sure if we've seen him or not.
God, this cop.
And he's obviously a fucking red herring to me. He talks like he's trying to do a Ghostface impersonation.
This cop is a dumbass.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put it. Everything he says and does is so extra that it makes you cringe.
Because he was looking for Kelly Kraft.
Yeah.
Then he goes back and talks to the main cop about it. So next day, they're going to talk to her. This fucking guy, I did not like this scene at all. They pull up to the house. Kelly's got her son with her. Lila's like, hey, why don't we talk? She's like, I don't have anything to say. He's like, well, if you don't have anything to say, then, shouldn't be anything to hide. She goes inside with Kelly to talk to her. Kelly's kind of like disrespectful as fuck to her son. They go into the house, and the officer's, sitting outside. All right, so the officer's sitting outside. He turns around. He sees Riley had just, sat down at this picnic table in between the houses. I guess they are like really next door neighbors, and Kelly and Courtney are like real good friends. So she's sitting outside. He asks her, what is she doing here? She said, I live here. He asked for some identification, which that's doing too much. Like, honestly.
That's an asshole move.
Yeah, so...
I don't want to say that it was, but I kind of got the fucking vibe that was profiling.
It probably was. I mean, yeah, Riley is black, and he was a white cop. It's very possibly could have been that. Courtney comes out. It's like, what the fuck you doing to my kid or whatever? And it's like, I was just asking for some identification. She was like, oh, for real? She pulls the fucking phone out. It's like this fucking piece of shit cop is interrogating my fucking kid. Overly extra. Yeah. It's not even the fact that she was recording it. That'd have been fine in itself if she'd just been recording it and documenting it. She's doing extra shit, saying that he's trying to get her to suck his dick and all that. He ain't said none of that.
He got his hand on the holster.
That's what happened. He put his hand here on his hip. And it was kind of on his gun, but I don't think he was actually going to ever pull it.
But I get trying to be protective of your child, but I don't think that was the way to go.
No, not the way she did it.
Whatsoever.
No, like she went too much. So Riley fucking left.
Yeah, she fucking dipped.
Basically, we cut back to Lennon, who is texting the stalker. Because the stalker had texted her, like, in the last episode, where are you? So they posted a map.
Like, come here. Agrees to meet up with him. So she gets this map, like James was saying. And they meet at this, it's a public place.
The public park.
And then she gets out. She got the GPS. And then somebody comes up behind her, spooks her. It's Margot. Then he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And evidently Margot has a way of tracking her.
Which I'm sure was like a social media thing, like how Snapchat for locations on. It's called consensual stalking, I think is what she said. And she was just upset because she wanted to know why
She didn't show up last night, yeah. That's what it was. That's why Margot followed her, because she never showed up to the house last night when she was supposed to spend the night with her. Which, I get. Margot asks, hey, what are you doing? And Lennon explains what happens. And she's like, oh my God, are you fucking crazy? That conversation plays out, and she gives pointers like, just remember, public place, no secondary locations. And then the bodyguard, I think his name's Kyle, this whole time was beeping the fucking horn.
Because she's supposed to be somewhere.
And then Margot's like, shut the fuck up, Kyle. So finally she leaves, and then Lennon, a split second, thinks about it. She's like, fuck it. I guess I'm going to go to the secondary location, even though my friend just told me not to.
And it's so fucking stupid.
Like, she's breaking the horror movie rules.
Like, even if you were going to go there, take someone with you.
Right. Like, there's a lot of things that Lennon does don't make sense. Like, I get she's trying to find out this by herself, don't want to put her friends in danger. But to some fucking extent, if I'm agreeing to meet the person who's killing my friends, I'm bringing somebody with me. I don't even care. I got to hide them in the backseat or something.
The dad is looking at, like, camera footage and shit, like, trying to figure out. He sees camera footage of the truck coming at us and driving off. So he's trying to, I guess he's trying to figure that out. And he's doing flashbacks while Dylan's talking to Riley. And it gives us the flashback that, like I said, like, further explain how she felt. Because it did the flashback of Dylan and Lennon having sex. I was at first thinking, like, it's possible they didn't actually have sex. Because we never really seen them have sex. So maybe she was just saying that to Allison to, like, hype her up and get her to go do it. No, they legit had sex. Because it showed them, like, taking their clothes off, all that, going deep into it or whatever. And as soon as it was done, Margot had walked in on them. You know, they decided to go to the cave to try to do some information, like, try to figure some shit out. This is where she tells Dylan that she heard Allison breathing or take a breath when they were leaving the cave. Cuts back to, you know, fucking Allison at the snack and stuff. She gets in there, she's trying to find whatever. She like trips and falls, and like you hear that dude Dan, who also was just like very fucking inappropriate earlier because Dale. It was Dale. They stopped at the snack that like Dylan and Riley had talking about Johnny being dead, but he didn't just like start feeling. I was like, so Johnny's dead. Like just the way he said
his
it.
Character's so fucking weird.
And he was like, you must be upset, Dylan. Like, y'all being so close and everything. Because, like, they kind of insinuated that they were fucking or whatever, but they weren't. She turns around and he says, I got you. She hits him with a fucking can. Cuts back to this whole situation. Then it just cuts to Margot and Lennon, like, walking in while they were talking and them having another conversation. And she says that, like, she hit him and she ran off. But, like, we didn't see anything else.
Yeah, that's it.
So she hit him with a can and that was the only thing we saw.
Like, I didn't understand in the episode of why they threw that context out there, because it didn't contribute anything. Because they didn't follow up with it. It was just hit, cut, and to the cave.
So they're in the cave and they're talking about, like, you know, it's obviously got to be Allison. Who else could it fucking be? Because Dylan was like, her name's not on the wall, and usually whoever dies in here, so for whatever reason, that person's name gets written on the wall. Hers isn't here, so she must be alive.
That logic alone is kind of stupid.
Yeah. So Lennon is like, look, we know Dale knows how to clone phones. He knows how to do this. He's been stalking me or whatever. Da, da, da. We should go confront him. They're like not wanting to do it. So she basically calls them shitty friends and she leaves. And she goes to the snack stuff again by herself. They show up and they're going to support her. So they're going to go in. They're going to do whatever. And we had a little shot of Dale in the snack and stuff because he's like the cashier or whatever.
Yeah.
He's leaning out this little window area, like in the middle of the store, And he looks over, he sees somebody come out, he goes, hey, and he walks around, walks towards him. That's all we saw that.
So Lennon walks in the store. Of course, the friends follow. And you don't get much context about what happened. You just know that Dale's dead at this point. They all run out, sick to their stomach. They're shocked. Well, our hunch wasn't fucking right because Dale's dead.
They're kind of like talking about his kill, but like they never really said what happened. Like they said, someone who even likes Blue Crush. Margot says the most outlandish, stupidest fucking line.
She says, "I wonder if his dick is blue."
Why?
Like, I was like, "What?
Why? Like,
What the fuck are you talking about?"
The cop who, on his way to the store, because he ran out of his energy drink or whatever he was drinking, on his way to the store was talking to somebody on the phone. And he was asking about a human head, a specific teenage boy head, which I guess they were trying to look for Johnny's head or whatever. Dylan had drove by the police station, and it's literally sitting on the fucking on the side.
It's just sitting on the fucking concrete pillar on a police station. That's what it is.
He's talking to him, and then like the dude on the phone is like, "No, I don't have any human head. I got a gorilla head." He says the name of the episode, "No, a gorilla head will not do." And he was like, "Wait, so you don't have any 20-year-old heads? Do you have any other human heads?" Like insinuating the dude like had like a bunch of illegal heads. The dude hung up on him, which is very fucking odd.
Again, if you take that context in this episode, how does that contribute to anything?
Yeah,
that's just a fucking character being creepy at this point.
He goes in the store, walks in, the lights are flickering and all this shit. He walks in, sees a pool of fucking slush on the floor, asking for people. He's like, "Hello, anybody here?" Turns the corner and he sees Dale standing up next to the slushy machine. And he's like, "Hey man, I think your drink's overflowing." But like when they showed his skin was clearly fucking blue.
Yeah.
So I've never seen a blue person in my life. That's just me. He didn't think the dude was dead at first until he like looked at him in the front. The slushy thing had been shoved down his throat, and I guess that suffocated him or whatever.
It was basically fucking embalmed in blue slushy,
which is creative.
It's creative.
I'll give it that. Like this show so far has had very creative kills, considering the movie only dealt with a dude with a fucking hook.
Only hook kills, yeah.
Other than that, they go to this very, very fucking weird ending.
Lennon gets a message from Allison's phone, and it is a video.
Well, before that, she had said, "Who are you?"
Yeah, he said, "Who are you?" He replied, "I'm you." It sent the pictures, because I'm not sure if we mentioned it in the previous reviews of what we did, but Lennon cut herself on her leg. Mm-hmm. And Allison did the same to be Lennon.
Yeah, because like she said something to her dad. Because like it was another weird thing. Because like she just dropped her pants in front of her dad, like just standing there in fucking panties in front of her dad. And it's like you must have not known her that well. I started cutting her leg in front of him to emulate that fucking mark in case other people saw it.
And then the most questionable thing I've seen in this whole TV series happens. She gets a video, or Lennon, the real Lennon, and Dylan fucking. In which clearly she looks at the camera not once, but twice in the episode. Now, I have so many questions about that fucking ending.
Yeah,
so many questions.
We've been trying to talk about this, and there's not much that I can like explain for that. Which gives me the intent that she recorded this video to fucking hurt Allison. If she'd been fucking any other person, because it said that she was promiscuous, that's fine. You literally went and fucked Dylan to get back at her.
And then recorded the video?
Recorded it? Because, like, it's either she recorded it or she just happened to see that there was a fucking camera. Like, maybe she was just used to knowing that there was a camera in the room. She saw it. But she saw it twice and, like, looked into it.
But that don't make sense.
No.
Because in that aspect here, like I've said 1,000 times, if that plays into the story, this has to be premeditated. But isn't this a revenge story about her getting hit by the car? Mm-hmm. If this is true, it makes no sense.
And we're not saying it doesn't make sense in like because she died or whatever. Because it's very possible she could have been alive and she survived somehow. The hell, that fucking Carla woman that was on this edge could have saved her, nursed her back to health, all that shit. And then we could have had a revenge story where she was hunting down these people and killing them and all that.
And
that's fine. What was the point of the video?
Even if it's not Allison, like we said, if it was Dylan doing it, that still wouldn't make sense.
No.
Because why would Dylan kill Johnny?
We went down the list. Like, it makes no sense that Margot kills Johnny. They were too fucking close. Mm-hmm. Allison the person, like the actual Allison, would never have killed Johnny because she was close to him. Dylan didn't have a fucking vengeful bone in his body for real. He actually wanted to turn everybody in that moment. I don't think he's going back and killing these motherfuckers off like that. Riley, she doesn't have any motive.
And if it's somebody else, maybe they have Allison's phone now. They just got access to all this stuff because they're fucking with the real Allison. But that's a stretch, man.
And I want to see episode 4 because I'm hoping they'll actually explain it in somewhat logical reason. Because right now I can't fucking think of a logical reason for that to have happened.
What do you think about the episode? It's a filler episode. And that's the thing about almost every episode. I like the TV series a lot more than I thought I would.
True.
But there's so many continuity errors. There's so many dumb decisions. The cast is great. It's just the writing.
Yeah.
It's the writing, the pacing, the same problems we had from the very first episode are rolling over to these. You start to have filler episodes, these fucking cliffhangers. Why are they even cliffhangers? You're showing these early. What we're getting don't make no fucking sense. You got 80 fucking black trucks running around.
Literally everyone fucking drives a black truck. Carla drives a black truck. Fucking Dylan drives a black truck. Dale drove a black truck. Like, there was like 5 fucking black trucks in there. She pulled up at the fucking parking place and there was 3 there. Like, how many fucking people? Like,
they got one dealership.
It's got some problems.
It's got a lot of problems.
A lot.
Again, 1 was terrible, 2 was good, this was just a filler, so it's kind of like dead fucking even right now. So 4 is going to have to bring something.
To me, it's got to be better than episode 1. It's hard to go down from that.
Like I said, because I like the characters, I really do. Do you think at this point we just enjoy it because of the characters? Like, they're such good cast? They're just in a shitty show?
That's the thing. Like, I'm not like the hugest fan of all the characters either. Like, I dislike Courtney a lot. I don't really like Kelly. I like Riley. Yeah. I like Dylan. I'm still not a big fan of Margot. I don't like the Allison Lennon person because, like, they're so wish-washy.
It's really convoluted.
Yeah.
It's so convoluted. It don't really have a main focus point. They're just throwing like, hey, this is this. Hey. And they're drifting away from like the main fucking thing. And the main thing right now, because you have all these filler things going on, don't make sense. Because you're just throwing shit in there. It's like we went from A to C and B is just all this fucking random shit going on.
And there's too many fucking red herrings, bro. Like, Dale was a red herring. Dylan's kind of a red herring.
The fucking cop.
The fucking cops are
I feel like the whole character of Carla is a fucking red herring.
Yeah.
And she's just there to, maybe it's her. Because she has nothing to do with the fucking
She
show.
said nothing. She said nothing. She was in the first episode. She saw them, apparently. She lives next door to them.
She hasn't said a word.
And she drives that fucking black truck. It's just, they don't know who the killer is. It could literally be anybody.
Yeah.
It could be one of the fucking chefs at the restaurant. It could be a cop we haven't seen yet.
That'd be hard to tie into the situation. Like, they have all this fucking access and freedom to fuck with Allison at will. So it can't just be anybody. It's gotta be somebody they know.
It has to be.
If not, what's the motive? Just some random motherfucker?
Yeah. Oh, I saw it, so I'm gonna give you shit about it. It's gotta be one of like the integral cast. It has to be. Or it's fucking Lennon. And if it's Lennon, you're literally shoving it down our throats just for it to be her. Doing too much.
It's too easy.
It's way too easy.
They're pushing it so hard to be Lennon. The reveal, it's not really a reveal.
It's not like
you're just
like,
waiting on it.
It's like the last episode of Paul said she's the killer. It's like, well, all right, well they told us. Like they've been telling us. Once the season's over, we'll rate it. We'll tell you everything how we felt about it and everything. But as right now, I'm just like, all right, well that episode happened. Well, again, we really appreciate y'all watching. We're gonna keep trying to do this until this season's over with this show and the Chucky season's over. And again, we're really, really appreciative for y'all watching. Thank y'all so much. If you haven't already liked and comment or subscribed, do it. It helps us. It helps us be able to put out more videos. If that's what you want to see, do that.
We need to know.
Tell other people. Tell a friend, like, hey, just check this out. If you're into this kind of thing, this is something you might be into. We try to do a lot of different things. So we really appreciate y'all for watching, and we thank y'all. And until the next episode, deuces.
Adios.
What a slam. The thing is back to you, grouch. Just my crew just might roll on you like